we can start the first session.
But I will introduce our first speaker. It's Chiara Letta from the University of Pisa. The library, she's responsible for the institutional repository, and she will give her librarian's perspective of whether open access is an opportunity for science, and I'm sure we all hope it is, or whether at the end it might not be or become a financial burden. So Chiara, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, so as you've heard, I'm a librarian and I deal every day with open access issues. And I often have to face a sort of motivational problem. Like many researchers don't really see why they should seek open access unless funding requirements or a specific rule force them to do it. So this is just a quick reminder of why it is worthwhile to grant open access to your publications. Like it's good for individual researchers as it gives them more visibility and impact. It's good for academia in general because it helps interactions between researchers from different countries, including countries with low possibility to access subscription content. And it also is very good for society in general because it makes results available outside the academic world, allowing professionals to use them. Like this is obvious for medical research, for example, because doctors and patients can update their knowledge about diseases and treatments, but it's also true for many other fields. Like just think of engineering or management or agronomy, whatever. Even humanities can be shared by school teachers, for example. They can update their knowledge and pass it on to their students in simpler terms. This is also a way to remind you how we can achieve open access. You see, that's the green road, which means posting a manuscript version of your research in an institutional repository. This has absolutely no cost. And sometimes it may require an embargo period imposed by the publisher, but it's certainly the cheapest way to open access. Then we have the gold road, which means publishing open access on journals that are totally or partially open access by paying a sort of a publication fee that is called article processing charge, or within a publish and read agreement, which means a sort of contract between institutions and publishers, where institutions pay a certain amount of money, I should say an extremely high amount of money, both for accessing content that is not open access and for publishing a certain number of articles in open access on the same journals. And then we have the diamond road, which means publishing in open access journals where you don't have to pay neither for publishing nor for reading. So, of course, it's not a commercial model, and these kind of journals have to be managed and owned by institutions or communities. So, given that open access is good and there are several ways to achieve it, the fact remains that it is hard to build an open access culture, especially when open access is perceived either as an obligation to fulfill or as a considerable waste of money. And this second thing happens because of the misleading idea fostered by commercial publishers that the only way to achieve open access is the expensive gold route. Now, transformative agreements are at the center of the debate. This model has become largely predominant in the last few years, and we should start thinking about what is working and what is problematic about these contracts. So what is working? There's actually a large number of articles now available. We passed from 22% to 59% of open access articles in less than 10 years. There's undoubtedly a limitation of double dipping practice that was very common with the deal model. And there's centrally a simplification for researchers who don't have to look for different kinds of funding when they want to publish open access. But there are also many questionable points. First of all, global equity issues. So all the low-income countries cannot really afford this kind of very expensive contracts. And so they are excluded from publishing opportunity, if not from reading opportunity. So the equity issue is still there. It only moves from reading to publishing. Then there's a sustainability issue for each country. Like these kind of contracts are so expensive that sometimes we think that they will not be sustainable in the long term. And I know what I'm saying because my university this year, 2025, had to opt out of all the transformative agreements we had in place because we simply couldn't afford them anymore. Also, there's little transformation. They are called transformative agreements because they were meant to transform the publishing model from subscription to full open access model. But this transformation is not really happening. The hybrid model is still firmly in place. And then last but not least, there's the problem of concentration of power, this oligopolistic group of scientific publishers, the big five that now have become the big three, Springer, Wiley, and Elsevier, are really reinforced in their power because many institutions have to interrupt other smaller contracts and subscriptions with other publishers just in order to save money for these big contracts. So how can we balance openness and sustainability? There's no quick answer actually, but the long-term strategy is necessary and policy efforts by institutions is certainly required. As for transformative agreement, I should say that certainly we have to coordinate action to negotiate a better model. And I would really advise to follow our example because our choice was certainly too drastic. But if necessary, being selective could be an option. Like we could understand which contracts are really so decidedly unsustainable that they have to be interrupted, maybe in favor of those that are more favorable to institutions, like, for example, all those that do not impose a limit on the number of articles you can publish within the contract, the so-called uncapped agreements. Then there's a key point of the evaluation of research. So as long as evaluation procedures based on impact factor and other bibliometric indicators fuel this need for prestige publishing, very little space is left for alternative publishing. So in this case, COARA can help, I hope. And then we have to consider some actions towards open science, open access that could be pursued. First of all, I'd say green open access. Green open access is somewhat out of fashion at the moment. I realized that 10 years ago, it was very easy to find information about self-archiving on the publishers' websites. But now it's become some sort of truffle hunting. You have to look for information scattered across several different pages and hidden behind lots and lots of unwanted information about gold open access. So I think there's a sort of deliberate design to put it in the shadow. But still, it is an effective way to be open, and it really has no cost apart from the time spent by the researcher in looking for the right version to upload. And it really doesn't need many infrastructure work because every institution already has a repository to use. So I think we should focus on green open access again. Then there's the diamond open access that needs really to be fostered. It's the new frontier for open access. And here, what we need is investments on open journal platform. We should involve university presses when possible. Institutions should dedicate staff to this enterprise. And what we, humble librarian could do is, at the moment, is to suggest existing diamond journals as publication venues. For example, there's this Diamond Discovery Hub, a new database collecting diamond open access journal.
Sorry, Chiara, could I ask you to wrap up, please? The 10 minutes are nearly. 10 minutes.
Okay, it's the last slide.
Thank you.
Okay. So, and also we could explore alternative model in the gold route, like supporting more sustainable models, like the subscribe to open model, or not-for-profit publishers like academic publishers or scholar societies that charge very low APCs. And also we could use open access platform like Open Research Europe that is currently devoted only to European Union funded research. But there's a project to enlarge its scope, and we should follow and support this development. Okay, I'll leave the conclusion to you because I already exceeded my time.
Thank you very much, Chiara. And there will be possibilities to ask. We invite everybody to ask questions afterwards. But first, we'll have our second speaker, Kirsten Hilliger, also from a library, but in Germany, in Berlin, the Humboldt University. And she's a coordinator for the university publishing. And her title is Open Access Publishing, from the operational perspective of libraries to the experiences of researchers. Kirsten, please.
Thank you very much for introducing me. Thank you, Chiara, for giving us a point to open access publishing in your view. I work at Humboldt University Berlin. I work at Humboldt University in Berlin, and I'm part of the team of our university publishing house, Berlin University's Publishing. I will just pick up where Chiara left the theme open access publishing and give you a short overview over open access, how I see the opportunity of financial burdens, and then I will pick up Diamond Open Access, the German initiatives, SEDOA, the Service Center for Diamond Open Access, and Berlin University's Publishing, how do we work as a Diamond Open Access publisher. So, and we will have a few challenges and approaches before we can answer all questions. So, do I think that open access is an opportunity or a financial burden? I think it's easier to talk about financial burden, and I will do it in a quick way. In Germany, we do have contracts with Elsevier, Springer Nature, and Deal, and Wiley, the Deal contracts where we are paying a lot of money and leaving a lot of money. In addition to other transformational agreements with other publishing houses. So we are often paying double to get access to the content and then to get the articles in a gold open access way. And I think the problem we all know is that APCs or BPCs are increasing and not transparent by the publishers. So we have to deal with rising costs due to the number of publications connected with our institution. But I think open access is an opportunity, especially regarding diamond open access. So we will keep the publishing in the hand of our scholars, so it's scholar-led. We are non-commercial, and we also keep the digital sovereignty of our content. So do we have costs? Of course, we do have costs. As a university publisher, we have costs for personnel, for infrastructure, and also for services. But in the different, we are fair, open, transparent, and diverse. So it's better to keep the publishing in our university publishing house. So in Germany, we do have a new initiative, the Service Center for Diamond Open Access, which is funded by the German Research Foundation. And the aim is to support Diamond Open Access in Germany. We have the mission to strengthen the quality and acceptance for institutional publishing. We all know what reputation is as a factor, so we need to build up the reputation of institutional publishing. We need to connect decentralized services and communities and to raise the visibility of Diamond Open Access. That all leads to more reputation, I say. So ZEDOA is part of an international movement, for example, the European Diamond Capacity Hub, and eager to collaborate globally. If you need further information, you can take a look at our homepage, diamondopenaccess.de. Berlin University's publishing is a project of the Berlin University Alliance. In Berlin, the Berlin University Alliance includes all Berlin's 3 major universities, Freie Universität, Humboldt Universität, Technische Universität, and the Charité, the University Medicine. Berlin University's publishing started as a project and now is established for about 2 years. The idea was to pool existing expertise. For example, the hosting of our journals is located at Freie Universität, and the publishing of our Diamond Open Access books is located at Technische Universität. But we do have more persons to work at Charité and Humboldt Universität for distributing all the tasks combined with Diamond Open Access publishing. So the only thing is that we are open to the researchers affiliated to the Berlin University Alliance, so we are not open to everybody. At the Humboldt Universität, we have to deal with all aspects of financial burdens, explained before, but Berlin University's publishing is an alternative for presenting scientific outcome, and it's always supported by our publication funds. So how many people we are? We work at all 4 BUA libraries with 7 persons. Our aim is to do a lot of public relations work, presenting at conferences or workshops, but also to give consultancy to everyone who is interested in open access themes. So our services are not only the publishing of our journals and books, but as well advising into all open access topics. We provide the appropriate infrastructure in our houses, so we do have repositories, or we are hosting the journals via OGS. For our researchers, we have values and promises, I think, which are very important to know. So we work open access and open science. We are community driven, we are non-commercial, and we try to be a part of a bibliodiversity. And we promise quality assured work. We are free of charge, immediately open access. We're highly visible, applying recognized standards. We're trustworthy, transparent, and open. So I think everything a Diamond Open Access publisher should be. We do have challenges. They are not German, but they are worldwide. We have a fragmentation and lack of interconnectedness across journals, platforms, and countries. The visibility is limited in bibliographic databases. We have diverse disciplines and formats which have different needs, certainly. And it's always a question, how do we deal with sustainability and resources? But with these network infrastructure in Germany, we have an approach for European and international perspective. We deliver services for journals, books, and other formats, and we support editors and publishers with a technical, legal, and organizational guidance. We try to promote visibility and recognition of Diamond Open Access publication, and we try to work openly and collaboratively to sharing tools and practices. So I think it's a very big theme to establish Diamond Open Access in such diverse contexts, but I think we are on a good way. So thank you very much, and time for questions.
Thank you very much, Kirsten. Thank you very much, Chiara, too, for these very useful introductions from another. I'm a researcher, so it's really useful to see, the other side, or one of the many facets of this very complex problem. Chiara talked about compliance burden, waste of money. There is a really financial burden. I would even go as far as, it has become a business model that has been imposed on researchers and academics by publishers. So maybe to try to identify how much this model benefits them, I have my personal opinion, but I would like to have your opinions as librarians. How much does it cost to publish a paper? It doesn't cost 10,000 euros, as some want us, to pay. We know that. But according to you, how much does it cost? Chiara, for example.
Probably this is an answer that Kirsten would know better than me, because she works in publishing. But I think that certainly the price of APC is totally wrong. It's not possible that publishing an article costs like $3,000 or $4,000, especially because the most important part of publishing, of scientific publishing, is peer review. And peer review is free because publishers don't really pay anything for that service. They try to elicit that service for free. Maybe they can give some benefits, but they certainly don't pay. So if we have to pay only for graphics and copy editing and this kind of service, of course we won't reach such a price. I cannot really quantify, but I have the impression that with big publishers, we pay also lots of useless services. I don't know if you have seen this new reading assistant of Elsevier. It gives you an article and it says, this may be a bit too long. Do you want me to help you reading? I'm not stupid. I'm supposed to be a researcher. I have to know how to read an article. So I think maybe we pay for many things that are not really necessary. But I would like to hear what Kirsten would say.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a difficult question because we are comparing two things. For us as a Diamond Open Access university publisher, I said we do have costs, but we pay for the personnel and for the infrastructure, and we do not receive any APCs. So I think in some it might be cheaper, but I cannot say tell you any costs directly. Yeah. So we do also always have to think about how many time our colleagues are taking in to keep the journal running at the moment. And the editors are also working for free, and peer review is for free. So as it is, but that's the same at the commercial hosted journals, I say. But it's a quite interesting question. That's clear.
Exactly, but the question was difficult because we pay for much more than publishing, and this is not transparent, and that makes, you know, the evaluation of the situation much more difficult. And maybe we can move to another question that is asked by somebody in the audience. What is the role of communities in raising awareness of open access publishing? Because I think, as both of you have explained, there is a lot of communication behind the scenes that has to be, you know, done and continued. Chiara, do you want to start?
Okay. Yes, I think that's a very crucial point, because this motivational problem I was speaking about in the beginning is really widespread, even though we are speaking about open access since, I think, the first years of this millennium, but still there's not a real widespread awareness about open access and its advantages. So I think that institutions should focus on this more, especially in terms of raising awareness, like with online materials and courses and events like this, whatever. But just making regulations and giving benefits from time to time is not enough, because it doesn't really create a culture of open access.
Thank you. Kirsten?
So I think one central point is to build up the reputation inside of your university, to convince professors and young researchers to see the opportunities of publishing Diamond Open Access. And I think that's the hard theme we have to work on, because the reputation is not built by the published information, but in the backyards, I would say. So if you do have a very known editor in his field, and this person is going to change his point of view, I think a lot of other researchers are going to follow. So we have to deal with the thoughts of getting a better reputation through Diamond Open Access publishing. And I think that's the hard way. So we have to do a lot of public relations work, not only inside our universities, but wherever we can. So
absolutely. Let me carry on that thought. When you say we need, what can researchers do to help librarians to indeed, you know, get this reputation, and to get more academics on board? As a community of many stakeholders, what could the others do, not only the librarians?
I think we have to change the mindset for our researchers, which is very difficult. And I do understand, as long as the scientific model to get a good job is set on I'm missing the word, sorry. If you only count how many clicks does the article have? How often are they cited? If you only have the citation numbers in the focus, you won't change the system. But I think we need to get a different approach how to see if we have a high quality research in front of us or not. So I think that's one way to make the game changing, but really a hard way.
Which leads to Chiara's comment about evaluation and COARA.
Yes.
Putting some pressure on that side can, of course, or hopefully will change the kind of attitudes of researchers towards publishing.
Yes, and I think we need important researchers just promoting Diamond Open Access. Say that's a really better opportunity to be seen and recognized.
Which leads to maybe the last question, because we are closing to the final time, but somebody in the audience asked, is there any initiative for Diamond Open Access at the Circle U level? Not yet, maybe. Are you aware of anything, beyond Germany? We have this collaboration between universities, so maybe that's also a nice opportunity to get the ball rolling on a higher scale.
I think nothing specifically has been set up by Circle U, but we have to make a sort of net among all our institutions. I think this is a moment that may be useful for that as well, especially Kirsten's presentation was very helpful, even to take examples.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let's try to keep that thought, and maybe as part of Circle U, share our infrastructure or cost or experiences, and then work together. I think that's a very nice opportunity. And then there is a last question that I think we should really tackle, because it relates to what Kirsten and Chiara said about the evaluation. It's a question about a PhD student in chemistry, and they are writing a paper at the moment, and they were wondering whether publishing open access is a choice that they can make, or whether it's a choice that their supervisor makes, and who will decide because of the financial cost. And I think that's a really, really good question, and I'm going to, as a supervisor, I'm going to give my point of view. I think this should be a question that is addressed as a group, with supervisor and the early career researcher. Consider what's the best audience, what's the paper about, what kind of paper do you want to write? And then once you have established that, look for open access journals, keeping in mind that publishing your paper open access, this has been shown a couple of times, will increase the readership and will increase the number of citations. So if your supervisor is very kind of involved in, as Kirsten said, all these metrics, this counting, this bean counting at times, arguably meaningless bean counting at times, maybe, putting forward the fact that with open access, you will get more readership and you will get more citations. But it's definitely a decision that I think should be taken, as all involved parties in writing the paper. But I think it's a really good question that touches on the kind of central issue that we were discussing with open access publishing.